Quý cô chú ông bà anh chị em ơi, hiện tại bây giờ gia đình của mình đang có mặt tại một cái nơi rất là bí ẩn tại thành phố Santa Cruz ha. Nơi này là cũng một trong những cái nơi mà du lịch rất là nổi tiếng tại thành phố này. Tạm thời mình chưa biết giải thích như thế nào, nhưng mà nơi này giống như là nó nghiêng 160 độ, 45 độ mọi người, giống như mình đứng thẳng nhưng thực tế ra nó không thẳng, nó nghiêng. Thì nơi này rất là nổi tiếng. Mình sẽ để tất cả những cái gì mà bí ẩn hay là những cái đặc biệt, những cái điều nói chung là những cái gì mình chưa nói được trong cái video này, mình sẽ để hết ở phần mô tả. Mọi người xem video có thể vô trong phần mô tả của mình, có thể xem tất cả những cái mình để những cái mà quan trọng mình nói về cái địa điểm mà mình tới nha cả nhà. Vậy thì bây giờ đó, mời mọi người, mời cả nhà, quý cô chú ông bà anh chị em đi theo gia đình của mình cùng tham quan cái nơi bí ẩn này tại thành phố Santa Cruz nha. Let's go. Có mua vé không anh? Hợp lý nha, mình khoái tới cái chỗ này. Có người chỉ đường đó. Thì nơi này mình không có phải là tham quan một mình đi ha, mình vô mình sẽ mua vé và sẽ có tour đó, người ta họ sẽ dẫn mình đi vòng vòng ở trong cái núi này 45 phút. Anh đem nước cho mình chưa? Ở đây có một chiếc xe người ta họ dán toàn là chữ Mystery Spot, mọi người thấy không? Là cái tên ngay chỗ cái địa điểm mình đang đến nha mọi người. Nhìn cái xe đẹp quá mọi người ha. Rồi đứng vô chụp hình ba cho con nha nè. Hi. Đi theo nó đi đi. Hả? Để về mẹ nhíp cho. Ok cả nhà, thì mình mua vé nằm ở ngay đây mọi người ha. Chỗ này là chỗ người ta bán vé cho mình. Thì chút xíu nữa mình đợi ông xã mình coi thử cái giá vé bao nhiêu, mình sẽ nói cho mọi người biết nha. Còn chỗ này là chỗ kia là bán quà lưu niệm á. Chút xíu mình đi xong ra mình sẽ ghé vô đó để mình xem người ta bán gì, mình sẽ mua về làm kỷ niệm ha. Nó có những cái bàn để cho mình ngồi mình nghỉ ngơi nữa đó cả nhà. Đẹp quá. Ông xã của mình mua vé này cả nhà. Thì theo mình thấy là giá vé là 10 đồng, 5 đồng đậu xe. Mấy đứa nhỏ thì free, không có tốn tiền. 10 đồng một vé ha, đậu xe 5 đồng. Mấy đứa nhỏ thì free, không có tốn tiền. Anh xã của mình anh đang mua vé. Anh em đi toilet nha.
Vô trễ nên là đợi thêm 45 phút.
Sau khi mình mua vé xong á cả nhà thì mình sẽ đứng ngay đây đợi ha. Đợi có người ta họ sẽ dẫn mình đi một cái tour 45 phút ha. Thì bây giờ mình còn 2 phút nữa là được đi. Bây giờ mọi người cùng đợi với mình nha. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu đi vô mọi người ha. Thì trước tiên ở chỗ này nó có cái bảng history á, dành cho chỗ này nè. Thì cái chỗ này nó nói về vì sao có cái chỗ này, ai khám phá sao thì mình để dưới phần mô tả cho mọi người xem ha. Bây giờ mình chưa thể dịch được.
I'm feeling wonderful. Thank you all so much for asking. Now, has anyone been to the mystery spot before? Yeah. Around how long ago is that?
Maybe like 8 years ago. So
it's been a little while, all right. Well, great news for you. Absolutely nothing has changed. Though I'm sure we may have rewritten a few of our jokes since then. But to get this tour started, my name's Maddie. I'll be your tour guide this afternoon. And let's get right into a little bit of the history behind the mystery here at the spot. Now, in 1939, all this land around us was owned by a lumber company. And this lumber company had 2 plots of land. They had one which we now know as the Mystery Spot parking lot, and the other was this hillside. Now, once they were done working on these, they wanted to sell them off, and a man by the name of Mr. George Prather had his sights set on that flat building ground out there. Though they would only sell it to him as long as he agreed to buy some of the hillside with it. Now, only once he agrees to that deal did they then warn him not to build anything up on that hillside, as it was known to be pretty dangerous. And anything the lumber company tried building up there had come sliding right off the hillside. Now, if you all went and take a look up that hill, you can see that Mr. Prather wasn't the best listener. Instead, when he got his hands on this land, he sent some surveyors up the hillside to inspect the area and find where the best spot to build would be. But these surveyors found 3 really strange things happening up on the hillside. Now, the first of which was as they went up the hill, they felt like it was exceptionally difficult. Like there was a really strong force pressing right up against their chest. I hope you guys are excited for that. The second strange thing was that their compasses were giving off all sorts of crazy readings. They were up to 180 degrees off in some areas, meaning that east was reading as west, west was reading as east, and it all goes south from here. A lot like my jokes. Now, the third strange thing was all this weird stuff was happening in one very large circle, an area of about 150 feet in diameter, with that border going through these trees, up that hillside, behind the cabin, back down this hill, and through these cement blocks. Which means that all you guys are inside the mystery spot, which should explain why you're feeling so mysterious, right? I actually have a lot of people tell me once they cross the boundary, they seem to feel a little bit lighter. Usually around $10 lighter. Now, these cement blocks were originally put here in 1940, and once upon a time they were pretty level, though after many years, especially this tree's roots growing, they've really pushed up and offset the blocks here a tiny bit. And we do need them to be level for our demonstration, so we had to come up with some kind of solution. And you know we love our trees here in Santa Cruz, right? We don't want to cut them down. So instead, we went down to Monterey. We cut down one of their trees, got these 2x4s here, and shaved them down on either end to recreate that flat and level platform. Now I can show you all just how level it is with this handy tool here. Does anyone know how level works? Great, well, I get to explain it to you guys anyways. So we have this vial of liquid in here. It's got a bubble floating around. The bubble floats up to whichever side is higher. Though in the case of being on a flat and level platform, that bubble will stay right in the middle. It'll stay right between the black lines. Now I'll go ahead and set this down on the boards here. Make sure we do have a flat and level platform. There we go. And would someone like to come up to check to see where that bubble is? Just see it right in the middle, perfect. Now knowing it's right there, I've had a lot of people tell me, you know, it must be a rigged level, right? We must be trying to trick you guys in some way. And I get not trusting me. I am a stranger in the woods, leading you up to a cabin. I get the hesitation there. Though, you know, there are a few ways you could rig a level. The first of which would be to freeze the liquid in here. It would keep that bubble stuck right in the center. But as you guys can see, that bubble's floating around, right? No frozen liquid here. Now the other way would be to shave down one end of the level, make one side a little bit bigger than the other, kind of like we did to the 2x4s here. That way, if you put it down on an uneven platform, you can make it appear to be level. But I can disprove that, as that would only work in one direction. So here, I'll set it back down. And would someone like to check for me one more time? See where that bubble is? Can you see? Oh, here, does it look a little off?
Oh, it's in the middle.
Fix it? Just to really make sure. There we go. All right, perfect. And here, I'll flip it around, just to really make sure. Still there? All right, perfect. Now, knowing we have a flat and level platform, we're gonna do our first demonstration to show you guys some of that weirdness that's going on around here. So for this, I'm gonna need some volunteers. Could I get 2 volunteers who are roughly equal height to each other? Give or take an inch or 2? Anyone? Feel free to volunteer someone you came with.
Celine, nó giỏi. Trai mà giỏi mà.
I'll start picking in a moment. Here, do you know how tall? Oh, would you like to come up? All right, perfect. You're gonna come and stand over on the side. Would you like to come up? You're gonna take a spot over on this end. And if you could step on those wooden boards, 1 foot on each, facing the middle. There we go, perfect. All right. Now you guys might be a little bit easier to see over from that end. But if you guys want to look right at each other, stand up nice and tall. We'll measure your eye level here. Looks like you're looking right at around the mouth level. Now, if you two want to switch places for me, we can see the effects of when one person leaves the mystery spot and the other enters. Here we go. There you are at the mouth. I'll measure 1 more time, and ooh, look at that. Looks like you're up to the nose, almost the eyes. Looks like you grew a little bit. Or maybe you shrank. But don't worry, any lost height can be bought back in the gift store after the tour. Give a round of applause for our volunteers. Thank you guys for coming up. You guys are great. Now that's pretty strange, but we actually have this part of the mystery solved. We found out when you're standing outside that boundary, you stand up nice and tall. Whereas once you cross over into the mystery spot, you develop a very slight lean. It's not a 3-degree lean here. It may be a little hard to notice, but you can see it a bit easier in the trees right behind me. We have 1 tree growing on the outside of that boundary, and it's growing straight up. And you're the 2nd tree within the mystery spot, and it's got that little bit of a lean on it. It gets a bit more noticeable as it goes up. Now that lean is what's making you appear to be losing an inch or 2, since you're not standing totally straight up. Now if you guys want to take a look at the Life magazine poster over on the side of the ticket back, that's the cover of Life magazine, 1948, with the Hardings couple on the cover there. And they're showing off that full 17-degree lean we get up to in that exact cabin. Now we found that the strangest thing about that photo isn't the lean that they're showing off. And it's certainly not how high that man's pants are. But we did a little bit of digging into the records, and we found out that the woman in that photo, you wouldn't believe this, her name is Eileen. I get it, Eileen. Listen, you guys, it's a $10 tour. I've only prepared $10 jokes. Just warning you guys now. Now, in a moment, we're going to start heading up the hillside. But like I said, it might feel a little bit more difficult than you think. So if you guys could go ahead and use those handrails on the way up if you need them. Does that sound good to everyone? Yep. All right, let's start heading up the hillside. Someone dropped a quarter if anyone wants to pick that up. Let everyone catch up. Definitely not because I need a break after that. Now, did anyone find that to be a little bit more difficult than they would have thought? All right, I'm glad I'm not alone. Anyone find that to be a little bit too easy? All right, well, great news for you. You get to run up and down here until you agree with me. Make a little room for those people to come on down. Now, I've actually had a lot of people tell me that straight cut coming up here seemed to feel a little bit more difficult. And it seems to get a little bit easier here on these switchbacks at the end. Now that's pretty strange since these switchbacks are actually a little bit steeper. So we should expect these to be harder to come up, but we believe that straight path may feel more difficult since you're heading right towards the center of the mystery spot. So those forces are pressing right up against you. Whereas here on these switchbacks at the end, those forces are only pressing against your sides. So you're not quite getting that full direct resistance against you. Now in just a moment, we're gonna head into the courtyard in front of the cabin. But like I said, it's a little weird around here. It's a little mysterious. You might feel some side effects with that. Maybe some dizziness or nausea. But don't worry, you guys, that's totally normal. I mean, it usually only lasts like 2 to 3 days. You guys are gonna be totally fine. You're gonna follow me on in here.
Cái nhà hai vậy?
You guys can keep on coming in this way. We got plenty of room over on this side.
Ủa cái nhà sao nó nghiêng qua bên vậy ta?
All right, is that everyone? Yeah. All right. Now, you guys may have noticed the really weird looking cabin right behind me, but let's ignore that for just a moment. Is there anything strange about me you've noticed? Please be nice.
Giờ mới kìa.
Em đong điện thoại em thấy nè.
Maybe you look a little bit shorter, and yeah, that's right. I have this really weird lean on me. And actually, if you take a look around at the rest of us, we all have the same lean on us. It's about an 11-degree lean out
Mình
here
đứng
in
nó
front
cũng
of
mấy
the
mé.
cabin. So we're gonna do a little activity with this.
Hả?
If everyone wants to go ahead and face downhill for me, and put those feet together.
Put your feet together.
Now, if you look down at your feet, you can see they have shot out in front of you. I actually had an older man on my tour the other day tell me it was the first time he'd seen his feet since college. We're going to turn around to face uphill, and again, keep those feet together. Now, if you look down at your feet, you can see they have shot out behind you. But not only this, they felt a sort of spiritual presence in this position. So we're going to go ahead and try and channel that for a moment.
Em không có feel được tới nó sao vậy?
And throw them out behind your back. And take your left hand and press those fingers up into your forehead as sort of a conduit for that spiritual energy. Now, if you really lean into it, you can see we've all been possessed by the spirit of Michael Jackson. Real thriller of a joke, am I right, guys? And if you didn't like those, you can just beat it. This cabin was not originally built right here like this, but about 20 feet up the hillside over in that direction on its original foundation, when a storm in the winter of 1940 blew it right off and it came sliding down.
Mẫu ở chỗ này thôi hả?
Now, does anyone have a guess as to what could have
Nó tụt xuống hả?
stopped the cabin right here?
À, cái nhà này từ từ tụt xuống hả?
Give a round of applause. The tree.
Đó, nhà đó rồi, có trên đó tụt xuống.
Unfortunately, that is the wrong answer. I'm very sorry. Though I like to appreciate all my answers here. But if you remember, this land was bought from a lumber company. And what do we know they like to do to those trees? Chop them down. They chop them all down, exactly. Now, knowing that the area was empty of all of its trees, we believe the cabin stopped right here because this is the dead center of the mystery spot, where those forces are pushing and pulling it, keeping it locked right here. Now, being this close to the center, we have a neat tool we're going to bring out to show you guys some weirdness and seriousness going on here. But this tool, it's a little bit shy. It's going to need some encouragement from you guys to come out. You guys are going to need to give it your best, your loudest sounds of awe and inspiration. We're going to try this all together. You need to give it your best, your loudest ooh. Followed by an even louder and more mysterious ah. We're going to try this all together. And remember, if we all do it together, it won't be embarrassing, right, guys? Are you guys ready? 3, 2, 1. Ooh. Ah. All right, that was almost loud. Listen, you guys, the louder you guys are, the more I get paid. Are you all ready for the one, the only, the eighth wonder of the world? The board of mystery. Ooh. It's a piece of wood from Home Depot. Now, we're going to play one of our favorite games here at the spot. It's called Which Side is Higher? Who thinks this end of the board is the higher end? All right. Anyone think the inside part of the board is the higher end? All right. Anyone think this board is flat and level here? All right. I'm seeing a lot of non-voting. Very American. This level here, it's a bit more of a portable version of the one down at the start. And I'll go and put it right on the board here. And would someone like to come up to check to see where that bubble is?
Mình nhìn nó nghiêng nhưng mà thật nó bằng hả? Hả?
Đợi coi.
And could you tell the audience in your best tour guide voice where the bubble is?
It's dead center.
It's dead center.
Để phải làm bạn coi coi.
Now, knowing it's right there, I'm going to take out an average everyday household item, something I know we all carry in us at all times. I'll take out my pool ball, my cue ball.
Nghiêng nhưng mà nhìn nó bằng anh ơi.
What do we expect should happen?
Roll.
It should stay there. Yeah, it's the flat board. It shouldn't go anywhere. So here, I'll set it down, and you guys can see that as soon as I let it go, the ball.
Ồ, nó không có bay hay chưa?
Not surprising, it is a flat board. But if I give it a little bit of momentum, you guys can see that the ball.
Oh.
Whoa.
Wow.
Now here, I didn't just push it out. How about roll it into the cabin? And you can see it slows down to that stop.
Oh.
Back out.
Wow.
Now I've had some people say, you know, it must be a trick ball, right? We must have a magnet in there, maybe a motor, maybe a very well-trained hamster. We pay $5 an hour. Well, no more hamster. So again, we roll that ball in still. Slows down to that stop. Rolls right back out. Now someone's pointed out, you know, Maddie, what about the weird groove in the board? So I can show you guys, we have this groove here to make sure the ball stays in the center of the board, doesn't just roll every which way. Then you know, what if we cut it in a strange way that shoots it out the same direction every time? So here I'll go ahead and I'll flip it around, and I'll set it right back. And show you guys again here, we roll that ball in. Still, slows down to that stop. Rolls right back out.
Hay ha.
Now some others like to point out, you know, there's like a million different ways to rig a ball, right? So here, I'll take out something that I absolutely cannot rig.
Hình như cái nhà này
I'll
tự tụt
take
xuống rồi.
out my Kirkland brand vegan water. Now I'll pour this right on the board here. And as I pour it on this far back end, you guys can see that the water just comes rolling right off.
Con đứng bên này Monkey nè, tự nhiên theo mẹ Chí.
And not only this, but the magical board has transformed the water into vodka. Yeah, I'm just kidding. It was vodka the whole time. Now, in just a moment, we're gonna head on into the cabin. While we're in there, we're gonna do a couple safety demonstrations first. The sooner we get them done, the more time you guys are gonna have sick photos. And while we're in there, if you're feeling any dizziness, any nausea, you can head on through to that courtyard on the other side and sit there for a little bit until the next part of the tour. So with that, if you guys want to follow me on in here.
Wait, Marcus, everybody go first. You're gonna get in trouble. Mọi người cho đi chót đi.
Nhà mình cho đi chót đi. Monkey, Sydney con đừng có thể đụng mẹ được không con?
Stop fighting.
Well, the last few people coming in. You guys can see it all the way around this front here. We got plenty of room. Now, in this first room of the cabin, we have our lovely table, perfect for photo opportunities. Really shows off that full 17-degree lean in here. Now, some of the most popular poses are that Michael Jackson, maybe a Superman, or if you have a partner up here, you can have a Titanic moment. Now, please be very careful getting up and down this table. We have these steps right down here, though they may feel a little bit more like stairs. And while you are up here, please, very important, do not jump off the thing. You're gonna land. You could fall and get hurt. We have a camera right there. We're gonna watch you fall over and over and laugh at you guys, all right? Now, if you guys want to head on into that second room, we have a couple more demonstrations in there. And then you guys are gonna have plenty of time to take photos.
Sydney, come here.
Alright, now does anyone have any idea what this device here is called? The last person who licked it ended up working here. Pendulums are meant to swing evenly in both directions, and this one, as I push it out, gives me a lot of resistance. And as soon as I let it go, it seems to swing to one side a little bit more than the other. Now we believe that is those same mystery spot forces, like you may have felt coming up the hillside. The same ones that rolled that ball right off of that flat board are swinging this ball in one direction a little bit more than the other. Now with that being said, please be very careful. This is a pretty heavy metal ball. Just be aware of those around you. You don't want anyone getting hurt. We've also got a platform over here, perfect to take that Eileen cover photo pose if you have two people facing one another. And lastly, we have this ladder against the wall, which looks like a ladder, but could feel a little bit more like stairs. You can climb right up there. You can hold that bar at the top, do whatever pose you like, some Spider-Man, some Superman, whatever you want. Now you guys are gonna have some time to take photos. I'll give you a 2-minute warning at the end. And if you need me, have any questions, or want me to take your photo for you guys, I'll be in the first room, all right? Have fun, you guys.
Hả? Cậu có chừng cái nó u đào đó nha. No, đi lên. Go. Sydney, no, Sydney, đi lên.
Alright, yeah, it's pretty common. We actually had this bench installed out here for people who were feeling some of that dizziness or nausea. But you know, I'm taking a look at it right now, and it kind of looks like the worst bench ever, right? Not a whole lot of leg room going on around here, so you might as well just sit anywhere. So we decided to repurpose it, and now we use it for our demonstrations. And with that being said, we're gonna play that game one more time here. Who thinks this end of the bench is the higher end? All right. Anyone think this end of the bench is the higher end? All right. Anyone think this bench is flat and level here? All right. Anyone not thinking at all? Here we go, me too. Now if I take my level here, I'll put it right in the middle. And can anyone tell me which way that bubble's going?
On the left.
It's going all the way to that end, right? Which should mean that end is a lot higher than that end. So here, if I take out my ball one more time, if I set this down on the bench, which way do we think it's gonna roll?
This way.
Should roll down this way, right? It should roll downhill. So here, I'll set it down and you guys can see that the ball rolls downhill. Ooh. Ah. It's a $10 tour. You're only gonna see the ball roll uphill once. But now knowing that this is indeed the lower end or downhill, and that's the upper end or uphill, I'm gonna start walking uphill and I want you guys to see if you can notice anything strange about me. All right, here we go. Do we notice anything? Kind of looks like I was going down, right? Now, does anyone have any idea what might be causing this?
That's a perspective thing.
Yeah, the perspective of that slanted roof line could be causing a weird optical illusion that's making it look like I'm gaining or losing height. But we're going to do a quick demonstration here to show you guys it's actually not just this roof line. And there's actually a whole lot more going on around here with these differences in height. So for this, I'm going to need some volunteers. Do I have anyone who's around 6 feet tall? Anyone around 6 foot?
Anh đó.
6'3"? Anyone around, how do you know how tall you are?
About 6'3".
About 6'3". Do we have anyone who's a little bit shorter? Do you know how tall you are?
5'11".
5'11", that works if you want to come on down. Here we go. I'm going to take this spot on the very end of the bench. Do I have anyone who's around 5'10", maybe 5'9"? Anyone? Pretty strong 5'8", if you want to come up and take a spot here. Anyone around 5'7", maybe 5'6"? Try to come up. Take this spot right here. Anyone around 5'5", maybe 5'4"? All right, perfect. We're gonna take this spot here. And lastly, anyone around 5'3", maybe 5'2"? Anyone? Maybe 5'1"?
Em là 5'2". Em cầm điện thoại giùm em.
You're gonna take that spot all the way down on the end for me. All right, perfect. Now we have this beautiful AT&T bar of people up here. If you guys can look to the right, make sure that person is a little bit shorter. And then check your left, make sure that person is a little bit taller. All right, perfect. Now in just a moment, I'm gonna ask that you two on the ends here switch places. Then you two here in the middle are gonna switch. And you miss, you have the most important job, all right? I need you to stand right there for us. Can you do that? Perfect. You guys can start switching around.
Châm lên đây.
Usually I have the person in the middle spin around a few times, but you look nice, so we'll make you do that. Do we notice anything?
Yeah.
Looks like they're all around the same height now, right? Which is pretty strange since you two went uphill, but seem to have gotten a little bit shorter. And you two came downhill, but got a little bit taller.
Bằng hết.
Now to show how drastic of a height difference this really is, can I have you two on the ends here switch back for me just one last time? Here we go.
Em đổi
Stand all the way on that end. Ooh, just to see that drastic difference in height, even though they both just looked to be about the same a moment ago. Now again, sir, you walked downhill and got taller. But not only that, look at the way that he's standing right now. He's got that chest out, that chin up. Not only did he gain height, but he gained confidence. Yeah! Now, while you all are still up here, we're gonna do one last little test. It's gonna be a bit of a balanced test, but nothing too intense. If you want to take one hand and place it on your stomach, and take your other hand and place it on your back to hug your center of gravity. Now we're gonna look at that wooden line here on the ground, and you can start bending at the hip just as far as you can, nothing too intense. And can everyone give them a round of applause? See, I can still feel these weird height changes.
Em thấp nhất mình đứng trên đó thành ra em
Now
bằng
with that,
ha.
we are going to head to the last section of the tour. If you guys want to follow me through this game.
Same thing, as far as that back wall as you can get. Jay, want to go down here?
These green fences here. We've also got a couple of steps down here to take a seat if you're so inclined. Now down here we have our T blocks. Very creatively named, I know. They're very similar to the blocks down at the start of our tour. And much like those, these have been offset a little bit over the years. Now, does anyone have any idea as to what event in 1989 caused the cracks here in the ground and offset these blocks here a tiny bit? Earthquake, that's right. The 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake offset these blocks here a tiny bit. And if I take my level one last time, I'll put it right in the middle here. And you guys can see that it's very close to being level, but it's a tiny bit off over in this direction. Now, we actually calculated that this end of the block ended up being about 2 inches higher than that end. But for our final demonstration, we're going to show you guys that, again, these height differences are not quite what they'd seem. And we're going to see a difference of a lot more than just those 2 inches. So for this, can I have one more very trustworthy volunteer? Anyone?
Market.
I'll start picking in a moment.
Chicken. Sydney, go.
Now, are you sure that I can trust you?
Maybe.
Have any of my jokes been funny so far?
Yes.
You sound like a liar. How many fingers am I holding up?
2.
Perfect, you're hired. If you want to take that spot over there for me. There we go, you can turn to face me. Now you're going to be our scientific observer, all right? Lastly, can I have 2 more volunteers who are roughly equal height to each other? Give or take an inch or 2. Maybe 3 or 4 at this point. Anyone? I'll start eyeballing it in a moment. I think you're around 6'3", and I think there's another person. Would you like to come down? Yeah. We'll have you 2 come on down. We'll see if I'm tall enough to do this. And one of you stand over on this end, and one of you all the way on this end. Oh, perfect. Now, very important job for you here. I need you to tell me which of these 2 people looks taller. He's a little taller on this side, all right? Yeah. Now, are you more of a cat or a dog person? Dog? All right, perfect. I'm going to take this level, and I'll start bringing it down. And when it gets to about the top of his head over on this side, I want you to go ahead and let me know with your best dog bark. Are you ready? Here we go. I'm breaking it down.
Come on, do it again.
Here we go.
Right there.
About there? Okay, I'll hold it right here if you just want to swap places for me. I'll try and hold this as still as I can. Ooh, that's a lot more than the 2 inches we were just talking about. Wait a minute, you said he was taller, right? What's going on here? I thought I could trust you. That's okay. It's a little weird around here. We'll give you a second chance. Who looks taller here now? What's a little taller on this side? Right? Now again, just let me know when it's at the top of his head over on this side. Are you ready? Here we go. Out there?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. One last time. Again, I'll hold it as still as my coffee hands will let me. Ooh, a little bit more off. What's going on here? Don't worry, this does happen every time. Though if you want that height back, I'm sure you can just ask him for it, all right? Give a round of applause for our volunteers. Thank you guys for coming up. You guys are great. You know the mystery. Me too! If we knew what it was, it'd be called the Solve Spot, not the Mystery Spot, right? And no one wants to spend $10 on the Solve Spot. But after working here for a while, we heard a lot of crazy theories, so we'll share with you guys our 3 favorite theories we've heard. Now the first of which is that deep underneath of us, underneath the Earth's surface, is a large chamber of magma. And this magma is spinning. It's spinning in a direction opposite to the Earth's rotation, which is causing a gravitational vortex right in this area, which would explain the slight odd pushing and pulling in weird directions. Now our second theory is a little bit more fun, is that deep underneath of us, seeping up through an open fault line, through the soil and into the air, are hallucinogenic gases that we've all been breathing in this last 30-40 minutes. Which means that we've all just experienced one big group trip. Welcome to Santa Cruz. Our third theory is actually my favorite theory. So to set the mood, can everyone put your hands together and start rubbing them like we're conspiring, like we're scheming. Now, thousands of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago, Aliens crash landed into this hillside, their technology causing all sorts of gravitational disturbances. Now, unable to return home, they needed to survive here on Earth. No, they wanted to thrive here on Earth. So what did they do? They took over humans' bodies and put on weird Mystery Spot t-shirts and gross green cargo pants. And used their mind control to trick people into oohing and ahhing at a piece of wood and making animal noises and rubbing their hands together for no reason. And now put your hands together and point in this direction and start clapping. Woo! If you guys liked the tour, my name is Maddie. And if you didn't, my name is Andy. We have one more treat for you guys before you go. They're yellow, they're sticky, they're native to the Santa Cruz area. It's Mystery Spot bumper stickers! Woo! You're all free to grab one on the way out. And thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you.
Of course.
What do you say? What do you say?
And if you don't have a bumper to put them on, go ahead, find a poorly parked car in the parking lot. Stick it on one of those.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, I saw the ones in the gift store that were huge.
Yeah.
Daddy. I just talked about it. 30 minutes.
Take your seat.
That was the tour.
Rồi xong rồi đó.
Rồi xuống dưới chụp hình.
Are you going home?
No.
Sydney, no, no, no,
There's a
Sydney.
lot of animals.
Don't run, walk slowly. There we go. You call you to go over there.
Daddy, this is not my...
Anh cho em tấm hình nữa anh. Anh vô trong đó nó bán đồ lưu niệm á.
Mommy, banana slug.
Mày coi coi.
Banana slug.
Trong này có không?
Yeah, but...
Kia, here.
There, she is.
Here,
So
Sydney.
fat.
Đừng có đụng nó nha.
Just so fat. Mommy!
Anh vô, em muốn vô lậu hoài lưu niệm em coi đó. Đi vô đây với mẹ không?
Mommy!
Cái đó đi mua cho nó đi. Cả nhà đây là cái quầy hàng lưu niệm á. Bây giờ mình sẽ vô bên trong ha, coi thử người ta bán những gì và mình có thể mua gì để làm kỷ niệm nha cả nhà. Mời cả nhà cùng theo chân với mình đi vô bên trong nè. Đi vô với mẹ không? Oh, banana here. Sydney kêu ra đi mua banana đi. Thì đây là cái quầy hàng lưu niệm á mọi người. Bây giờ mình sẽ tham quan ha. Có con banana để chiếc mọi người. Có ốc xanh banana màu vàng đó. Đây, người ta bán mấy cái mũi cho mấy đứa nít tới chơi á. Để mẹ kiếm tay nha. Sydney. Cái đó là gì vậy món kẹt?
Crystal candy.
Mấy tiền vậy?
Mommy, snake!
No.
Marcus, I found snake!
Em coi giùm em cáo màu hồng này thưa anh nè. Small á, anh coi thử nó đẹp không vậy? Dài quá vậy? Ồ, dài quá à. Cái gì kéo ngon hơn ha? Em là em thích cái này nè à. Em là thích cái này nè à. Cái chữ nó mua đó. Không, muốn mua cái không mua màu xám không? Mua màu xám không? Có small kìa. Small đó mấy tiền vậy?
45.
45 đè mở ra coi coi thử đẹp không vậy? Anh muốn không? Mua cho anh cái đi.
Thôi, em lấy đi.
Banana này à. Mình mua cái banana này ha, đẹp. Cái này mình dán vô tủ lạnh đó cả nhà. Mình đi mình hay mua cái này lắm. Cái này về mình dán vô tủ lạnh thôi. Santa Cruz. Cái này là gì vậy? Ok. Mua cái này nữa, cái này đẹp nè. Bằng giá đó lấy, anh mua cho anh cái đó đẹp á. Ủa nó không có bán đồ cho con nít hả?
Mommy, look over here.
Thôi mẹ sợ next.
Mommy.
No, Sydney, no má. Ê! Trời ơi. Cái này đẹp ha. Cái này đẹp vậy? Cái này để làm gì chứ? Cái này làm gì trời? Sao bỏ vô không được vậy? Hả? Em đây. Cái túi này đẹp không anh? Cái túi này đẹp không?
Okay.
Đẹp ha, lấy cho em ha. Nè anh. Nè cầm giùm em đi.
Kỹ đi, cái này nó mỏng hơn.
Wow, quá nhiều hàng lưu niệm luôn á mọi người. Có đủ thứ loại luôn á. Mình với ông xã mình mua quá trời ở đường Đẳng. Cái này gì ngộ vậy? Ngộ quá ha. Không biết là gì nữa. Mấy cái này mình không biết là gì, nên không biết đường nói cho mọi người. Ủa, cái này đá giống như là đá phong thủy cả nhà. Chỉ là chơi thôi nha. Wow, đẹp quá à. Có rất là nhiều hàng. Cho có cái ná nữa cả nhà. Cái này là cái ná đó. Anh nó không có bán đồ cho con nít ha, bán người lớn không à. Thôi mua cho con mình luôn.
Em nghĩ cái 5 đồng, 2 cái luôn.
Thì mua 2 cái luôn. Banana quá trời luôn. Sao banana không vậy?
Hey.
Mẹ xó đi.
No, so.
Anh nó có bán Zippo nữa nè. Cho nó ăn đi. Tại anh nó có bán Zippo nữa nè. Cái này là gì vậy? Ồ, 500 á hả?
Mommy, look.
Ghê. Ghê Sydney. Con chuột nó mò ra cắn mày đó Sydney. Có con chim đâu không kêu vậy? Sau khi mình dạo một vòng ở trong cái chỗ bán đồ quà lưu niệm mọi người, thì mình có một cái giỏ cho mình, với là ông xã mình cái áo, với lại mua mấy cái quà lặt vặt nữa. Đem về bỏ trong tủ lạnh đó cả nhà. Nhưng mà nó không có bán đồ cho trẻ con, nó bán đồ cho người lớn không à. Món kẹt ra ngoài với mẹ nè. Sydney come here, Sydney come here. Anh đứng xé xéo qua bên này nè, cái thôi để chói mặt trời á. Thì đừng lấy dưới sai, đúng rồi. Nó không có tới. Ok cả nhà, như vậy là video của mình tới đây kết thúc mọi người ha. Từ nãy gia đình của mình cũng quay phim xong rồi, ăn uống xong rồi, chụp hình xong rồi. Bây giờ gia đình của mình sẽ quay trở lại San Francisco nha mọi người. Từ Santa Cruz về nhà mình tầm khoảng tiếng đồng hồ á mọi người. Thì bây giờ mình sẽ đi về thôi. Cảm ơn cả nhà thật là nhiều đã xem ủng hộ kênh YouTube của mình nha. Chúc cho tất cả mọi người sức khỏe, bình an, tràn đầy hạnh phúc. Nếu như ai đến với kênh YouTube của mình đầu tiên thì mình tên là Trâm. Hiện tại gia đình của mình đang sống tại thành phố San Francisco. Và Kênh YouTube của mình chuyên chia sẻ về cuộc sống thường ngày của gia đình của mình tại Mỹ. Nói chung là không có chia sẻ về nhiều, chỉ là đi chơi, ăn uống, rồi những lúc mình đưa các con của mình đi bơi hay là đi đánh banh được cả nhà, đi ăn đi uống tụ tập bạn bè gì đó, hay đi tham quan tới những cái nơi thế này để tham quan, rồi đó mình quay video lại và chia sẻ đến cho tất cả mọi người để xem, biết thêm về cuộc sống của gia đình của mình ở Mỹ ha. Và bây giờ mình xin cảm ơn cả mọi người thật là nhiều, cả nhà thật là nhiều nha cả nhà. Cảm ơn cả nhà thật là nhiều nha. Và nếu như mọi người yêu mến kênh của mình thì xin hãy đăng ký kênh. Sau này khi mình up video mới nhất thì tất cả mọi người sẽ là những người đón nhận những video mới nhất từ kênh YouTube của mình nha. Cảm ơn thật là nhiều. Bye bye.